Hey guys, it's Steve with SteveHuffPhoto.com. I'm back again today to talk about something pretty cool, something different and unique. I have in my hand the Hasselblad X1D Mark II, and as you can see, I have a Voigtlander Leica M mount lens on the Hasselblad. This is a 50mm f1.2 lens. Now, over the past few days, I've been shooting the X1D II, not only with this 51.2, but a few other Voigtlander M mount lenses, even a Leica 50 Summilux. I also have been testing the new 45p lens from Hasselblad. Now, this lens is a tiny version of their 45. They have a 45 f3.5 that's been out since the first X1D. They have since released, just the last week, the 45p, which is an f4 lens, and the P does not stand for pancake because it's not technically a pancake lens. The 45p is stunningly small, very well made, very sharp corner to corner, and it comes in at $1,099. This is an amazing lens for the X1D system. I even told Hasselblad, you guys should put this in as a kit. This should be a kit lens in the box with an X1D II as an option because it's so small and so compact, and it fits so well on the body as an everyday carry camera. Yes, you can actually use a medium format as an everyday carry camera when you have something like the X1D, X1D II, and this 45p. I'm going to be talking more about this lens in my next video. For now, I just want to share some thoughts about using the X1D II with M mount lenses using a NovaFlex Leica M mount to XCD adapter. So let's talk about this a little bit. The X1D II here is a beautiful, beautiful camera. I've reviewed the camera on my website, SteveHuffPhoto.com. I reviewed the first version, this Mark II. I have a video on the Mark II and several videos on the original. The X1D system is a system I really enjoy because of the design. This body is handmade in Sweden. Its attention to detail is quite stunning. And in the Mark II, we have a faster processor. We have a different covering for the grip. We have an improved EVF. We have an improved LCD. We have GPS built into the system now. It has dual card slots, the battery down here. You know, I went over all that in my review of the X1D II. But using M mount lenses is something that most people don't even realize they can do with this camera. And even if you realize you can use these lenses on this camera via adapter, you know, a lot of people think it's unusable or you're not going to get usable results. But if you guys know anything about me, you know that I love different. I love unique. I love images and lenses and cameras that can render with character. I am not into the whole perfection thing that's been going on lately with lenses where everybody wants the sharpest lens they can get. To me, sharpness doesn't make an image. Sharpness is good for pixel peeping if you want to blow up your image to 100%. But to me, anyway, that has nothing to do with photography. Photography to me is about creating an image, creating a look, creating a unique style that you can call your own. But shooting lenses like this that are meant for 35mm format on a medium format body can be quite challenging. The lenses were not made for these large sensors of the medium format system, so you're going to get some vignetting in most images with most M lenses. With a 21, with a 35, with a 50, with a 75, I get vignetting on all of them, but these are either correctable in post, which is pretty easy to do, or you can crop if you like, especially using this 50 megapixel medium format sensor. Now, the images I'm going to share with you with these lenses have not been cropped in any way, but some of them I have tried to correct some of the more severe vignetting. I'll also share with you some images right out of the camera so you can understand what to expect. But what I like about using these lenses on the X1D, and I'm going to give you a couple of cons in a minute too, but I love that shallow depth of field, and not only the shallow depth of field, but we're seeing some swirl like we see in some vintage lenses, right? Using a Leica 50 Summilux on the X1D II with this adapter yields bitingly sharp images at the focus point, but everything else kind of melts away into a swirly blur. Now, not everyone will like that look. I happen to like that look, but I am fond of that style of image. Shooting Voigtlander lenses on this body is equally as nice. Almost. They don't have the biting sharpness at the focus point like the Leica lens does, but it brings a very unique, charming look to the images. It's something that you cannot replicate with 35mm full frame or smaller sensors. So shooting something like these lenses on the X1D, a medium format camera, will yield results that are not perfect in any way. You're not going to have corner-to-corner sharpness. You're not going to have perfect corners because you're going to have some vignetting in the corners, possibly smeared corners. I heard with some lenses you can get some color shifts, though I have not experienced that with the 6 or so lenses I tested in this way. Shooting these lenses on the X1D II is also, of course, manual focus only because these lenses are manual focus only. I personally like that, and the EVF in the X1D II is well up to the capability of shooting manual focus with ease. You could even press a button, expand the view in the viewfinder. You could turn on focus peaking, whatever it is you prefer as your focus aid, and it works perfectly. Another thing I like about shooting these lenses is the silence. It's completely silent because to shoot these lenses on the X1D or X1D II, you must turn on the electronic shutter mode, and you have to do this in the menu. Now, that's very nice for silence, for being stealthy, but there's also a con to this. When using the electronic shutter, you might get some banding in certain lighting conditions, fluorescent lighting conditions, for example. Here's a sample. I shot an image of Kurt Kamka in a restaurant where we met for breakfast to talk about the X1D and these lenses, and I snapped a photo of him, and you can see the banding behind him on the wall. That is from the lighting that was in the restaurant, and that is a result of using the electronic shutter. So for some people, this will be a no-go right off the bat, but these situations are pretty rare. I only saw that banding in that one image that I snapped, but it does have the potential to be there. The one main con of shooting the electronic shutter is if you move at all while you're taking that image, your image is going to be distorted because this camera has awful rolling shutter, right? So if you move while you're taking the photo, it's going to give you a distorted image. And you might think, well, who's gonna move while they're snapping the shutter? I've seen a few examples when I was out shooting with this combo where I just moved a hair and it wasn't finished exposing the image and the whole image was destroyed. You have to make sure you're holding the camera really still if you're using the electronic shutter mode, whether you're using Leica glass or Hasselblad native glass for this camera. Other than that, the images look surreal, they look unique, they have a beauty to them. Look at this image I shot of Debbie with the Voigtlander 75 f1.5 lens, wide open. I love the color, the soft color. I love the way the background melts away. I love the soft kind rendering of the skin. It's just a beautiful combo, and this combo has barely any vignetting. The 75 f1.5 from Voigtlander is one of my favorite lenses from Voigtlander, and it works extremely well on the Hasselblad, as does the 50 Summilux from Leica, as does the 50 1.2 from Voigtlander, and to some extent the 35 f1.2 Mark II from Voigtlander. So this is a really fun system to shoot. I was out for a couple of days using it, and it's just really fun to use. And I really came away with some personal images I really enjoyed. And of course, these are all test snaps over a few days' time. Really just wanted to see how it would work and if it was something that I would fall in love with to shoot these lenses with, because shooting medium format is going to give you a completely different look, and that's because of that big fat sensor in the X1D II. The X1D II has tremendous dynamic range, amazing low light capability, so I thought maybe this could be the perfect around town camera, low light camera, right? So as long as you don't mind the vignetting, which can be fixed in post to some extent, as long as you don't mind using the electronic shutter only, you can shoot some M lenses on the X1D and get beautiful results. Now the adapter I use is the NovaFlex made in Germany adapter. It's something like $246, $250. Very expensive, but it's also very well made, very solid, fits on the camera nicely. So the camera, the X1D II is something like $5,750. The old version was like $9,000 or something like that. So one can actually buy the X1D II with an adapter like this for around $6,000 if you have a collection of M mount lenses and be ready to go. So that was a look at the X1D II with some M mount glass. My next video coming up here very shortly will be on the 45p lens, and then I'm going to have a video on the Voigtlander 50 Apo for Sony. I just received that today, and I'm going to be testing it on a Sony a7 III here in the next few days, and then I have some other stuff coming up directly after that. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this channel, if you like what I do, thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. So I've been doing this for 12 years. I make videos about things that I love, that I personally would use or own. If you like what I do here, thumbs up and subscribe. I always upload new content. I love you all. Thank you all. I'll see you next time.